What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at Russo Lifts, just in case something happens to this YouTube channel. You can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I wanted to discuss steroids, Sarms, and hypersexuality. So what is hypersexuality? Obviously, an insane enhancement in libido, sexual drive, vigor. And this is one of the side effects that's not really talked about with bodybuilding and enhancement, but I'm going to cover it anyways. So for those who don't know, obviously androgens play a massive role in libido, sexual attraction, sexual drive, and hormones are essentially what drive that: estrogen, androgens, estrogen and testosterone mainly. Obviously steroids came into the mix and increased that. But the mental side effects is the spike and drop in libido, relying on PEDs for your sexual performance, your libido in general, or just being exposed to that hypersexual environment that PEDs induce could cause, a mental issue when you decide to PCT off, take a break. You're no longer in that hypersexual status. So I just want to give my personal experience with this, because I do get DM'd this every once in a while. And I think it's an interesting topic because, a lot of people go the PED route for, that sexual gratification of having higher libido, getting more attention from whoever you're trying to attract is a big reason why a lot of people go the enhanced route. So this is dangerous because when you decide to go on cycle, when you go on cycle, your libido goes through the roof. Obviously it depends on what compound you're using. Obviously it depends on if your estrogen's in the right spot. It depends on multiple things. But in general, your libido goes through the roof. So right now I'm documenting a trend cycle. My libido is still in that insane, ridiculous point where, it's got me looking at 4s and 5s, I just can't think straight, right? Gotta watch porn multiple times a day. It's crazy. Now, personally, what happens for me is even with trend, this insane libido lasts for about, a week or two, and then it resets back to normal. So I had that heightened sensitivity, and then, obviously it goes back to normal and minimizes. Now this doesn't happen for everyone. Some stay horny the whole time, some stay horny and then the libido crashes. It all depends mentally how you respond. But the big thing I wanted to touch on is when it's time to come off is where I see people start having issues. Like they say, oh, my libido, Russo, it's not what it used to be. You're never gonna have hypersexual trend libido, trend vigor, trend drive without the exogenous androgen added in. So some people, people who cruise on trend for years, you're running into this issue where you're not going to feel normal because your sexuality, your drive was so elevated for so long. That is the new normal, like I talked about. And when it's time to PCT off, now you think your libido is messed up, you're not as sexually attracted to other people, all this sort of stuff. This is something you need to take into consideration, right? I don't really rely on PEDs as far as my libido is concerned, my attraction is concerned. It is heightened. It's personally annoying for me. Some people it's not annoying for. Some people that's what they're looking for. But it's annoying for me, and when it goes back, you just have to understand that the hypersexuality was from the massive amount of exogenous androgens. You're not going to be able to maintain that after you come off. And mentally, that might be hard for you. Now, I'm not saying you can't get hard after you come off. If you can't get hard, then that's a hormonal PCT issue. But I see a lot of people, living the enhanced lifestyle, doing all that, being reckless, and then cruising for years on high dosages, having this insane libido, this insane vigor, fucking anything that moves. and then, you know, if they hit a roadblock with some permanent side effect, or, you know, their abuse comes to a stop for whatever reason, when it's time to get off, they say, you know, their libido is not the same, they don't feel the same, because they're so associated with that hypersexual environment that PEDs induce, that they'll never feel normal. So I think just being armed with that knowledge that your libido will spike and will go back to normal on cycle, and then you will have that hiccup and speed bump again when you PCT, just mentally knowing that is enough help, in my opinion. Now, there are things to recover your sexuality drive, your sexual drive after, you know, PCT products. There's all herbal supplements, yohimbine, tons of stuff. But overall, I think more people need to know that you cannot rely, but your sexual drive vigor will never be hypersexual. So just keep that into consideration. That's one of the side effects I feel like a lot of people don't talk about, is the hypersexuality that comes with androgens. And this happens to females and males. Add a bunch of androgens, you're going to get hypersexuality. So take that into consideration if you're going the PED route, going the dark side route. I hope everyone is doing well, and I will see you guys in my next video.